So welcome to the second part of the Master Grade Titus build, and what I've done is I've just finished doing the first round of painting on the arms sections. So let's take a look at some of the armor pieces here. You can see I've done a little bit of masking here around where I did that scribing, and I've added in 2 tones of green. This is the yellow-green mist colour. And then this is yellow-green mixed with some off-white, just to give it kind of pastel-y shade. I'm not sure if I'll do another shade here or not, still thinking about that. On the shoulder pieces here, I've added in this masking pattern using the same shade of green. And I've used the light grey here just to separate out these parts. And what's next is I've got to give this all a nice clear coat, and then I'm going to do some panel lining. And then these parts are more or less done. And I did the same effect here on the cuffs, right by where the fisties are. And now I'm just going to do some dry brushing, just to bring out some inner frame detail. You can see here I've already gone in and painted all of these tiny joints between the fingers. And for that I just used a bit of this metallic silver enamel. I used a bit of gold as well on some pieces, but that's waiting to dry. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do some dry brushing on this, just to give it that nice kind of worn metal effect, which is ideal of course for hands, because they do tend to grab lots of things. So what I've done here is I've just got some of my usual Model Air silver. I always use this stuff. I don't know why, it just seems to work really well. And I'm just going to dollop it straight out of the bottle. Not going to bother doing any thinning. There's not much point to doing any of that. And I've got this really crappy old brush. I've had this for years, literally this brush, just for this particular technique. And I'm just going to load it up. Lots of silver in there. And then gonna get some tissue paper, and I'm gonna remove as much as I possibly can from the brush here. Really get in there, get as much off as you can. I think we're about there. And then I'm going to get my piece here. And what I want to do is just gently catch the edges as I go over with this brush, just to kind of bring out some highlights. It's a very simple, very easy technique, and it's really effective. So this is probably something that you could do if like you don't have much access to like hair brushes or anything like that. Just get yourself a little bit of this paint and just do a little bit of dry brushing on your inner frame. Or you could do it on your armor pieces, it's up to you. And it'll add a nice kind of detail effect. It's very, very easy to do. Let's try that a bit so you can see it a bit better on camera. Let's go in a different direction for a bit, just so it catches some different edges. Let's do a bit here on the inside. Just here. Let's go the other way. Just very light passes, that's all we need. And then just sort of watch it as the effect builds up. And there we go. Let's zoom in a bit so you can see this a bit clearer. I haven't actually done the panel lining or anything yet, so it may look a little bit rough still, but you can see there, nice kind of brushed slightly worn effect there. So let's move on and do the other pieces, then seal that all in, and let's do some panel lining. So while I'm waiting for a clear coat to dry before I do the panel lining on the arm pieces, I'm just going to scribe in a few lines here on the rear skirts. And you can see here I've drawn in some lines just using a mechanical pencil, and I just used a standard old ruler and kind of lined everything up here just to make sure that everything was nice and parallel here. Made these lines parallel to these kind of vent sections here. So I'm going to scribe these lines out now. I've got a 0.2mm scribing tool, and I have some 3mm scribing tape. Again, this is available from my shop, GundamUK.com, if you need some handy scribing tape. So let's tape this up and get scribing. So you can see here I've now added my scribing tape. It's a bit hard to see because obviously it's a bit translucent, but I've just basically followed along the line that I've just made there. So I'm going to get in there and start scribing. Now, I'm not an expert in this. I've only really just started doing this myself over the past year or so I still need a lot more practice. But I've picked up a few techniques here and there. So all you need to do is just scribe along the lines, but with very light pressure. So hardly any pressure at all when you're doing it. Let the sharpness of the tool scratch into it rather than you pushing down and pulling it. Otherwise you'll end up with a very messy line. So let's go in there and start scribing in the line. So there we go. Just want to go over it just a few times until you can start to feel it scraping some plastic away. Okay, let's go along the larger line. And I think I'm going to do like a jump cut here because this is going to take some time, and then we'll come back and see how this turns out. Okay, so that's the line now scribed. You can kind of barely see it in there. And what I'm going to do now is just going to go over it with some 2000 grit again, just to clean up the line, and just so you can see it as well. You can see there we have a nice clean line, which is good. Nice successful scribe, I think. And it just goes off on the edge there, and all the way around to this side here. There we go, nice clean line. Pretty pleased with that. So I'm probably just going to go over it maybe once or twice just to make sure that that's nice and clean, and then gonna just tidy it up, and yeah, that's a scribe done for the back skirt. And now I have a place to do a little bit of colour separation on the back skirt. So here's all the scribing done for the back skirts, and I added in like a bit of a notch here, which isn't entirely tidy, but it's good enough. And I added in like just a tiny hole here, just add a bit more detail in, and made the line go all the way around the armour piece. And I just replicated the same thing on the other skirt, so we have some nice additional detail here on the back skirts. So I've reassembled both arm assemblies, and here you can see how it's all looking. I just wanted to see, to make sure that this colour combination is working okay. So let's zoom in a bit here, so you can see a bit clearer. And yeah, I'm quite pleased with how it's turned out. Some nice colour separation here on the cuff. I think this kind of masking pattern has worked quite effectively. Nice panel separation here. The scribing I definitely should have done in a 0.2mm scribing tool instead of the, I think I did a 0.075, and it's incredibly thin. That's probably best for like a 1/144 scale rather than a master grade, but I mean, it still turned out okay. All that's left to do is I want to put some little metallic details in these holes here and here, and I think there's a couple, yeah, there's a couple there, a couple there. I also missed some panel lining here, just these tiny little notches here on the armour pieces. But yeah, that's all going to be tidied up later on. Of course, I've still got to add some decals and then do another clear coat just to make sure everything looks okay. And yeah, but we'll do that once everything else is also completed, and also do a little bit of weathering as well. And it's best to do it this way so that I can see everything in context, if you know what I mean, rather than doing every individual piece. So I'll get every part done to this point, and then we'll look at stuff like weathering and decals. So that's about it for the second part of this work in progress series for the Master Grade Age-1 Titus. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you again next time. Bye bye.